So I met Sarah. I was going to hang out with one of my best friends, Josh Mooney, and he's said that he was going to hang out with a girl, and I said, okay, that's fine. And he said, no, there's actually another girl coming.
She told me that her boyfriend wanted to bring a guy along. And so my first thought was like, who are you gonna drag here? And I'm gonna have to act like I'm having a great time. I was pleasantly surprised when we went to El Potrero and the Joshes walked in, and I looked at Sam and I was like, whoa, he's actually really good looking. My first impression of Josh was that he was super handsome. I loved that he was way taller than me, and I loved his smile.
So my first impression of Sarah was we walked into the restaurant and I saw them sitting in the booth. And I thought, wow, she is gorgeous. She has this bright smile, cute little dimple, and I couldn't believe how pretty of a smile she had, and I was excited to go over there and talk to him.
And then we went back to Sam's house, and Sam and Josh went to sleep, and Josh and I ended up talking for like 4 hours out on her back porch, just about everything you're not supposed to talk about the first time you meet someone. And then we watched a movie.
So the first kiss was actually the very first night we met. So Sam and Josh went to bed and we hung out on the porch kind of all night long, and then I had to wake up early to go home and feed in the morning, so it was time for me to go to bed. And
we were sitting on Samantha's couch and watching a movie, and he kind of just leaned in and kissed me, and I was just kind of like, whoa, we're doing this thing. So that's how the first kiss went.
So then the first date, she was actually the one to ask me out. She will never let me live this down.
So I'm a pretty direct person, and if I want to know something, I'll ask. And so Josh was beating around the bush and, oh, how's your day? It was great to meet you, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, hey, are we doing this thing or are we not? And so he was probably really taken off guard by that. But hey, I got a date out of it.
So the first date, we went to Laszlo's downtown in Lincoln, and I picked her up, and well, first we went out to get a drink at McFarland's bar, and then we were waiting for our reservation at Laszlo's, and we went there. And
I was incredibly nervous, and I don't get nervous. You know it's a big deal because I'm very boisterous and love people. And so my good girlfriend, everyone calls her Goose, came over to my apartment, and she brought wine and cookies, and I was just freaking out. I was FaceTiming my mom. I just could not get it together. I came down from my apartment and walked to his truck and got in, and my heart was just like this. And I just felt like I needed to constantly keep the conversation going. There could be no silence whatsoever.
I could tell she was nervous, but we had a great time, and then we just went back to her condo in Lincoln. And
so I needed a light bulb changed in my apartment, and I could not reach it. And so I was like, here, he's a tall guy. He could come help me change a light bulb. And so I asked him at the end of the date if he could come up to my apartment. Well, he probably thought I had other intentions, but it was truly just to change a light bulb.
How I knew she was the one, that's hard. There was not one particular moment that I knew that she was the one. It was kind of an accumulation of a few things. The very first night she came out, we went out to one of the local bars, District 10, and we hung out with Brian Haley, Mark Ladwig, and Cliff Goff. And if you can hold your own with those three individuals, you're doing pretty well. And so that's how I knew she was really something special. And then that next morning, I was doing chores and checking pens, and she was walking in the pens with me, checking cattle. And so I knew she was a keeper, but she hasn't done that yet since that very first time, which that's okay, I suppose.
So I knew Josh was the one because the first time I ever came out to the farm, I come from an agricultural background. All my grandparents have had a farm and a feedlot. I went and he showed me all around, and I just had this feeling in my heart that it felt incredibly right, which was funny to me because I always wanted to be in the city, and I wanted to get out of Nebraska. And so when I felt this overwhelming feeling of peace in my heart, I knew something was different about him. And then just as time went on in our relationship, every time I was around Josh, he just made me feel like the most special person in the world. And that every time I was with him, he could bring out that laughter and that smile for me. And I just couldn't help but think, how could I not spend the rest of my life with this guy? And so he definitely got to know my soul and who I was and accepted me for that and loved me unconditionally, and that's how I knew he was the one.
So planning the proposal was Memorial Day weekend. We were on the boat with Rob Allman and Taylor Holzfaster, and Taylor and I were on the back of the boat, and we were just kind of talking a little bit, and said that I was gonna try to do it here sometime. I wanted to do it sometime soon, and we were kind of brainstorming ideas a little bit, and so she was helping me out a little bit, and so then the actual proposal, we had talked about us four going to a winery.
I was in Omaha for grad school and class, and I was coming out to Josh's house after class. We have to meet Rob and Taylor, which are friends of ours. We're gonna go to this winery, and I am never on time for anything. And so I just wanted to push some of his buttons. And so I told him, I said, so class had ended, and I said, oh, I'm shopping for some home decor. I love Hobby Lobby. So I said, oh, I'm at Hobby Lobby. And he was like, Sarah, are you serious? We're supposed to meet Rob and Taylor like at 5 o'clock. And I was like, they can wait. We'll be there when we're there. Well, the whole time I was really on my way to Josh's house. This whole time I'm just trying to stall to just not be on time because that's just what I do. And finally he was like, Sarah, we need to go, which he always says that, so I wasn't really shocked. And so we're heading to the winery, and we had just like a super deep conversation about our faith and family and just kind of this all-encompassing thing. But still, we have a lot of deep talks, so it really wasn't shocking. And we showed up to the winery, and I love wine, so I was like, let's do this thing, I'm excited.
She had no idea, because I had said, well, why don't we go walk around and look at some grapes down in the vineyard or something, which is very unlike me. It was hot out. I did not want to, I would not want to do something like that. But so we went out there, and Sarah and Taylor, they were taking some pictures, and it was time for me and Sarah to take a few pictures, and she was getting all dolled up and everything, just making sure her hair and everything's just right. And I just popped down on one knee, and
then I looked over, and there he was on a knee, and it took me, I think, like 5 times. I was like, Josh, are you serious? And I just couldn't, I kept repeating that. So it was definitely a shock.
My favorite thing about Sarah is she challenges me more than anyone I've ever met in my life. She pushes me to be a better person, and she brings that special part out in me that is a little weird, but it makes me who I am, and I love that about her. One of my favorite things about her, she's also one of the most caring people I think I've ever met. She's always looking to help other people and see what they need and looking out for other people, and that's what makes me want to be a better person, essentially.
My favorite thing about Josh is that no matter what type of mood I am in, he always can find a way to make me smile. And when I'm stressed with school or with work, or just life, he always finds that little button to push to lighten the mood. I also love about Josh that no matter who he's around, he always shows constant respect to people. And he's a really selfless guy, and that just shows through how he's a farmer and a cattleman, and he constantly is trying to help serve his family, help serve others, and no matter who comes in his presence, they always feel welcomed.
We're looking forward to, number one, just growing with each other in our faith together, and two, we're looking to strengthen our relationship every day and just becoming better for each other and making each other better as human beings.
And I look forward to building a life with Josh, hopefully with kids, and to extend our family and to challenge each other in our faiths to grow closer to the Lord. And I'm just excited to see what adventures come our way and what life has in store. So at the reception, we want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules to travel and come spend time with us on the day that we start our marriage and our forever. And we are truly thankful and blessed for amazing parents and family and friends, and we can't wait to celebrate the rest of the night.
We're very lucky to have the friends and family that we have, and let's have a good time.